Hi everyone. Hi, it's Frithy here again. This is my second attempt at my fourth video in the LHP series I'm doing, and you might have seen my little video explaining that I just could not upload what I filmed this morning. It was about 17 minutes long. I'm hoping that's the reason why it couldn't upload, but I don't know. I think there's more going on there. What I'm revealing, especially in that video, is hardcore stuff. It's about the secrets of the third eye and this divine realm, and it's information. I don't know. Who knows? So I'm doing it again, and you know that feeling, you know, when you've written something and you lose it, and you're like, oh God, I'm going to do it again, and it's not going to be as good. Well, that's I'm going to give it a bash, but I might do it in two parts. So I'll start now, and before we hit the 10-minute mark, I will stop, upload it, and then and finish this one off. So I'm going to talk about the experiences, the downloads, and the visions I've had in the 9, or now today's 10th session of the LHP, the protocol that I've been practicing, and they've all been pretty profound. I didn't know what to expect, because I haven't spoken to anyone about what they've experienced, how they've experienced doing these sessions. So this is pretty, this is just my take. This is my experience. But before I tell you a bit, sorry, a bit more about my experiences, there's a few things you should know about the protocol. And the first is that there is a part in it, it's step 11, which is a supplement, where you can ask for two things, which is a heart connection for your client, so that they have a sort of heart connection to perhaps somebody they having issues with. And another part in that is it's called harmonization, where you harmonize your client with others in a group, or just to get the energy sort of becomes more harmonious between them. And then another thing is that in the protocol you ask that your higher self connects to the higher self of your client. And I'm only mentioning this because I have a story to tell about this. Right, so I'm just going to work through my 9 sessions and just give you the highlights of it, because the whole process is pretty special, but just the stuff that really sticks out. What I do, I keep a journal, and I note the date and the name of the person or the group or the animal or the soul, and then I make notes of what really came to me during that particular session. And the very first one I did was on the 2nd of August, and that was with an ex of mine, and I've had many, so all you exes out there, keep guessing. I'm not going to say who it is, but it was a difficult one, and I sensed there was a lot of karmic luggage there between us, and so I did the session, and at one particular point I saw this sort of karmic knot. It's like a rope. I could see it sort of intertwined, and I saw this knot sort of just disappear, just sort of dissipate, and I just knew something was being resolved. And also at a certain point in that session, I was impulsed, over and above what was being requested from the protocol, to apologize to the higher self of this person, and just sort of asking for forgiveness. And then I got it back from the higher self of that person asking for my forgiveness, and I burst into tears. It was such a relief, actually. It was so beautiful, and I thought, God, if this is my first session, geez, what's going to come next? It was a pretty spectacular first session. It was very, yeah. And then the second session I did was for a very special person who's staying with me right now. There's a bit of a story behind it. I believe that she was my daughter in my most recent incarnation, and I don't think I was a terribly good mother to her. And our bond is incredibly strong now, and I feel so protective about her, and I have so much patience for this person. I just adore her, and So very special relationship. Anyway, I did this for her, and she's staying with me now. She's staying with me for 6 weeks. And during this session with her, I saw her sort of, there's a part of the protocol where you ask to see the cords that are attached to somebody, karmic cords or energetic psychic cords, and I saw her floating in the universe like that, and I saw just hundreds of cords attached to her. She was just bogged down, man. And then I saw these cords, they're not dissolve, but just sort of like snap, just go and then I saw it just break free and shoot into the universe. And at the same time, I saw her in her room. In my mind's eye, I saw the whole room just sort of with white light just shoot from her through the room and out the walls. It was just whoa, and the next morning, I casually said, well, how are you feeling? And she said, I feel great, it's just I'm feeling really good tonight. I was like, whoa. So it was pretty, it was quite a big confirmation, She knows I'm doing all of this, but I don't really talk in depth to her about what's going on. And then my third session was for a very little person, just new to this world, and I didn't really get much in that session. Oh, let me just explain something about the third eye. The third eye is your pineal gland. Mine is pretty active anyway, because when I had my Kundalini activation, my third eye sort of started activating. And if I just tune into it just during the course of the day, I can feel it. Like it's present, But during these sessions, it's really... present. I can feel it sort of throbbing and away. So my experiences in all the 9 sessions I've done so far have been very visual, which surprised me because I'm more of a kinesthetic person. I feel things, and so this has been a pleasant surprise. It's nice to have visuals, rather than sensations, because it's easier to interpret. So with this little person, not a lot to say about it, except at one point in the session you ask for the spirit's name, a spirit that might be harassing this person, spirit meddler they call. And the name Archon just came to me. Archon, I haven't heard that word for a long time. I think Carlos Castaneda talks about, calls them the flying beings or something like that. Other people think they're sort of AI. So I'm going to go and look into all of this. It was sort of interesting, I don't have much else to say apart from that this word popped into my head. So I thought, that's kind of interesting. Then I did the location clearing in my garden, which I talked about yesterday, which was very palpable. The big difference between before I did the session and afterwards. 1.5 minutes, and I'm going, and I'll come back. And especially in that grotto, that sort of healing, that little cave I built, it was very obvious. When I sat in there before I cleared it, and actually a friend of mine said, you should do a location healing. I thought, what a great idea. And I went and sat in there, and I was like, oh my God, And afterwards, it was just, even my friend who sat in there said it's like being in a womb, it's just such a beautiful space. So that was my 4th session. Oh, and then my 6th session. I actually did a 5th session with Michelle again. I said her name, with my friend, which wasn't really a formal one. I just listened to it and gave her a massage. It wasn't sort of in a meditative state. So the 6th session was with a group. And actually, I'm going to stop here because there's quite a lot to say about that. I'm going to upload this, and then I'm going to finish off this particular series, 4th topic. And I'm just going to ask Source Creator to protect this work and allow it to be seen and delivered to the whole. Bye. See you soon.